Hey everyone, I think we're just going to mess around with some cubes today and use the Lunchbox plugin and hopefully we get some kind of cool patternings happening. So let's get started with some Grasshopper. We'll just type that in. I'm just going to type in box right away. Do center box for now. Let's type in 15 for its dimensions. So the X, the Y, the Z. And then I want to get it in kind of a diamond formation, so I'm going to just type in rotate. And we're going to use for the angles, degrees rather than radians. And I'm just going to type in 45 for the degrees, rotate around the XY, and then I'm going to just copy and paste that over. We're going to rotate our last one, and I'm going to just do either XZ or YZ, doesn't matter. And if we hide everything, basically it'll kind of just be up on its side there. Then from here, I'm just going to go over to the Lunchbox tab. Bring that back out, and we're going to go to Generate over here, and we're going to do Subdivide Quad. And from here, we're going to need to type in Deconstruct brep, just like so. So we get the faces, and then basically you'll have quads here. And to get those different subdivisions, what we need to do is type in Boolean toggle, and that'll be a true/false switch. And we'll just guess for now which one we think will look good. Okay, and then if we hide everything, basically you will have these just odd subdivisions happening. And what we're going to do is bump up the number. So I'll just type in 5 for now, because it's going to get kind of complicated a little later, I think, here, if everything goes correctly. Okay, and then from here, what I'm going to do is we're going to type in boundary surfaces. We'll just plug in the quad A, quad B, and from here, we're going to type in area, so we get the centroid of each one of these. All right, and let's type in surface closest point. That'll be on that centroid. Go to the surface to the boundaries over there. And then from here, we need to evaluate that surface, and what we're trying to do is get the normal of each one of these surfaces. Basically, we're going to extrude them out, and we'll probably do it in the inverse direction so we have a lot of overlaps happening. And from here, I'm going to type in amplitude. The vector will go to our normal that we just found, and we can give it an amplitude right now of, let's just say 5. And all we need to do is type in extrude. Okay, just like that. And this might take a little bit of time. It's a lot of geometry. Okay, I'm just going to hide everything so we get the planes out of the way. Now if we bake that out, go to render viewport, see we just have kind of a singular box. So what I want to do basically is have them kind of, come in and out randomly. So I'm just going to type in jitter. Just like so. And we need to construct a domain. And we'll just put, let's just type in 25 for now. And we'll lower that one down, this one higher. Okay, and our domain needs a range. And the range needs a number, and that is the number of boundary surfaces that we created with that subdivision. So we'll just type in length, and we'll go to the list length. And that'll give us just the number of how many surfaces are in there. So if we just hover over there, it'll say, give us an amount there. Well, if we were to flatten it, but it's fine. So, and then we'll just plug the range into the jitter, and we can replace from our amplitude over to the jitter. And you'll start to see it's randomly kind of coming out. Now, if we were to bake that, start to get these really cool kind of fractal geometries starting to happen. Now, I want them to start to overlap more. So we kind of create, I don't know, ins and outs more and more, and maybe kind of forms of weaves and grids. So I'm going to go, instead of the positive direction, we're going to turn the jitter into the negative of whatever numbers it's generating. Plug that into our amplitude. And we need to bump up the amount on each one of these. So we'll do the minimum there. That's starting to come out. And then we'll do this one higher. Just like so. Awesome. Okay, so not much different than what we had before. So what I want to do now is we'll just scale each one of those boxes. So I'll just hit undo on my Rhino. I'm going to type in volume so we get the volume centroid, each one of these boxes. And we'll just type in scale. Plug it into extrude, the center to the centroid. Okay, and let's type in 0.75 for now, and we can mess with that later. I'm just going to hide everything else. And let's bake that out. There we go. So starting to get some really cool patterns happening. Looking pretty sweet already. Very cool. Okay. And I'm going to bump up the number of subdivides here. So I'm just going to turn that to, let's just do 7. Might have to give it a little bit of time to generate a lot of subdivisions happening. And this might be too many. We can just go back down to 6. I might go back down to 6. Otherwise we can mess with the Boolean toggles. Maybe that's not the right one we went to. Let's try B4. Excuse me. Let that generate a bit. Let's just try 6 for the number. And let's bake that out, see what we're starting to get here. That's looking pretty cool. Pretty random looking. All right. And I might go back to what we had the B4 there. Let's bake that out, see what we get. I slightly like this a lot more. For some reason, I know there's not a lot of difference there. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. I wonder if we scale it even more to a smaller number. Let's do 0.5. We'll get different patterns. There we go. That's much better. These cool intersections happening. Awesome. And maybe we'll give it a little bit of height. So let's go back to Grasshopper. Let's go all the way to the beginning, to the second rotate. We're going to type in volume again. Plug that into our rotated cube there. I'm going to type in scale non-uniform. Plug that into the rotated cube. Plug the C into the volume centroid. And let's start messing with the Z value. Just like that. Start to see we're accentuating it. And then we'll just do the same thing. Scale non-uniform into the deconstruct B rep. Okay. Give it some height there. Might have to do this just right in Rhino too. Seems like it's kind of messing up. Just a bit there. One other thing we can just try rather than doing it in Rhino is we'll just take this away, go back to our rotate there, plug that back, scale non-uniform. We could just give the whole thing a bounding box. Type in bounding box. Okay, and that's per volume, so we're going to do union box and then flatten the group out. Okay, let me plug that into here. All these objects can go on the scale non-uniform now. You can turn that back on. There we go. What's this starting to look like? There we go, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, I'm going to turn that scale down just a bit. Let's do 0.125. All right, and then I'm just going to type in random split list. I'm going to do it 4 times. I have to flatten this. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm just setting this up so we can randomly kind of categorize these under materials really quickly. And I'm going to do a mesh B rep for each one of these. And we're just going to do a join mesh. Keep the file size low. Okay, and we'll just do the same thing for each one of these. I'm going to flatten these actually. Probably don't need to though, but already done. Okay, do that for each one of these. Excellent. And from here, we can just bake it out. That's looking pretty sweet. I might scale it up just a bit more. Okay, I'll just hide this stuff. Let's do 1.4 maybe. Just a bit taller. Bake it out again. Much better. That's very cool looking right there. All right, so the first one, let's just change it to whatever materials for now. Maybe frosted glass. Maybe this one is some sort of bronze there. Maybe this one's stainless steel. That work? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. There we go. Pretty cool. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to kind of rotate this so it looks like it's going straight up and down rather than kind of lopsided. All right. Might be kind of tricky. That's looking pretty cool. All right. Does that look cooler? Actually, it does look pretty cool. Does that look cooler? That does. Then we can just do 3 of them. So let's mirror it around. And we can get started on some landscape there. All right, I'm just gonna rotate just to highlight the different views of this thing. So each one looks a little bit different. Maybe we could kind of scale these a little bit as well. That looks pretty cool. This will probably be our view here unless I see a cooler spot. Actually, that looks pretty sweet too, but I have it pretty much on the same side. All right, I think this will be the view. And just like every time, we're going to type in bounding box in our Rhino. We'll just explode it, excuse me. And let's try to get that a little bit squared. All right, make it bigger. And I'm not quite sure what kind of scene this will be. These things are kind of just floating in space. So let's see. Let's just divide it out. Maybe we'll do, I don't even know, maybe a desert scene today. Okay, we're going to turn our points on after we divide it out. We'll go over to our select tab, do the select brush. Okay, let's just give it some hills out in the distance there. There we go. So this is going to be our view. Just like that. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to copy this and we're going to turn the points on. Actually, we should smooth it first. Oop. Too much smooth. Somewhere in there. Much better. Okay, I'm going to copy this. Turn our points on again. Make some water around in some areas. There we go. Drop that down just a bit. Excellent, excellent. That looks great. And then from here, I'm going to just paste what we just did. All right. And I'm just going to scale this in one direction maybe. We'll have some grass within the desert there. Oop, did I mess up? I might have messed up. There we go. All right, this will be our grass layer. All right. And I might just move it just a bit and maybe smooth it one more time. Looking good. This will be our sand. Excellent. All right, and then from here we'll just make a water surface. Just like that. Drop it down just a bit and we'll just name it water. And we are all set for Lumion. Alright, it loaded up really quickly in Lumion, so that's really good. Let's start assigning some materials to each one of these. So the default water in Lumion, I think it's not the right color, so I'm just going to go maybe a calm blue or a clear. We could do kind of a green kind of thing there. Let's add some sand. What's that look like? I forgot to do scale again, so I have to do quite a bit of guessing checking. There we go. Sand looks pretty good. I'm going to bump up the scale just a bit. Okay. Do some grass. It's kind of flowing around the sand there. Let's do some wild grass. Looks pretty good. Let's make it kind of tall. There we go. So the reason I left that grass surface in Rhino is underneath everything and not split it is because then the grass will kind of bleed into the sand nicely. Even though you don't really see it necessarily, but that's fine. All right, and for materials, let's do some metals maybe. Let's see here. We do some gold maybe. Put some weathering on it. Let's do some iron weathering. That'll look pretty cool. Maybe these are frosted glass. Maybe this is another, maybe darker metal. Let's do again some weathering on that. What if we do rock weathering? Then here, oh, let's do some metal again. Actually, they have in the library some aged stuff here. Do dark. Weathering's pretty aged already. What's wood look like? Stone. Looks better. Bring up the relief pattern. And maybe on the frosted glass. Oh, you can't really do weathering on frosted glass, but that's alright. Missing anything? I think that's all. We do have a fourth category there. Let's try another various. Let's do aged. Other stuff. Can we do aged silver? What's that look like? Man, how many different categories do we have? Oh, I didn't join all the meshes. That's alright. Do aged iron for that one. Again, bring up the weathering really harshly on that one. Alright. I don't know why they're not all connected in Lumion, but that's alright. We're getting through. I got everything on this, correct? This looks good. I think that's right. Actually, I'm going to treat that as the frosted. There we go. Pretty cool. Okay. And let's start adding some entourage here. This is kind of a, let's see, we can make it kind of tropical, I guess. So we'll go with this plant here. We'll just paint them in. Turn down that just a bit. Get some palms in there. That's too many. Turn down the density there. And let's get a kind of a different type of palm maybe. Just go really quickly. Okay. And let's get some plants on the ground there. Let's try this. Might have some floating, which is completely fine. Get it underneath our model there. Okay, guarantee we have a lot of them floating. Oh, nice, we don't. That's great. Okay, we might have to erase some after we're kind of finished up here. Let's get some different colors going. Yep, we got some floating, but that's fine. We'll delete them later. Okay. Okay. What else do we want? Might look busy now, but it's fine. I'm gonna turn down the density just a bit, get some darker colors in here. Okay. Now we can just go through and kind of erase out portions like these plants probably wouldn't exist. Well, might have to do it manually. Go like that. Okay, we'll do the same for all these sitting on our model there. Just delete them. Definitely makes it easy to lay them out, but you know, on portions that you want them to, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Awesome. That's looking pretty sweet. Get these out of here. Might just delete that one out. That's looking pretty cool. And let's add some birds out in the distance there. I might okay. We'll select all those, pick them up. This is probably our view there. Let's get some people. Maybe we'll put a boat in the water. Near the water, that'll be fine. And faces aren't the greatest, so I typically kind of avoid that. Okay, let's get a boat. A big one. I don't want the driver in there. Maybe we'll put a dog in here too. Why not? You'll barely be able to see him, but that's fine. All right, and I think we're all set to render. All right, snap a view real quick. Let's do a custom style. Let's do daytime maybe today. We could change that later. Let's see. Let's do 2-point perspective. Let's add a sun. And just bring that sun height down just a hair. I'm going to make the focal length a little bit wider so we get more of the scene. Might completely miss the boat, which is fine. Not a big deal. Surprise. We'll move it. Alright. That's looking pretty cool. I might bring that in just a bit. Looking cool. It's looking good. I might move all these plants down because they look kind of like they're floating, which I do not want. And the background there, let's add some maybe just a hair fog just to kind of cover off or cover up kind of this area because we don't have anything built in the background. Okay, looking pretty good there. Sun, let's make it a little bit lower. Change the kind of shift there. Shift it a little bit differently maybe. There we go. Get some kind of dramatic lighting happening. fog is interrupting. What happens if we turn off real skies? There we go, much better. We'll manually do the clouds later. And let's do it now. We'll do clouds and sky, or sky and clouds. Bring up the amount there. Let's get a couple of those nice low-hanging clouds happening. And again, like usual, I always render it out a little bit darker than like most, just because we can always correct it in Photoshop. Let's see here, sky brightness, maybe we'll turn that down. Just completely dark in that one. That's kind of cool looking though. Yeah, it's looking really sweet. Okay. And from here, what else are we gonna do? I'm gonna save this. And let's go back to our build. Let's select all these plants that we can see. We're just gonna lower them. Just so it looks like they're coming out, right? And then I might add just a few little kind of grass areas, kind of emerging just from particular areas, just like developing vegetation. Do some random ones here. Birds flying everywhere, kind of distracting. Okay, let's move our boat in. We don't want to block the dog. Maybe we'll move the dog over. All right, let's go back. Very nice. I think this one is pretty much ready to go. All right, so let's go to here. I think we're at 70. Looking good. So I might just adjust the sun just a bit. The plants look really great. All right, let's just go back, brighten it up just a hair. There we go. That's it. Let's hit our render button. 70 one more time. And we should be all set for Photoshop. All right, so we're all in Photoshop. I'm just going to see what the auto tone does for us. It definitely brightens some stuff up, which is good. Let's do an auto color. So that's just all right. Actually, I kind of like it. Yeah, we'll work with that. I'm just going to go up to image, adjust. Let's go to brightness, contrast. We'll just brighten up the scene overall just a bit. Just like that. So, when you're rendering, and I might have said this in past tutorials, I always render them out dark, because if you go too bright, it's kind of hard to go back with like darker colors in here without kind of wrecking the images. I know some might disagree with that, but it's just my standard kind of practice. And right now I'm just going to kind of dodge tool some areas in here, kind of brighten up that frosted glass, brighten up the lady in our scene there, get the dog so he's seen, and just kind of go through and just pick out spots that need to be highlighted just a bit. And I do this so it kind of moves your eyes around the scene there. Okay, and this boat for some reason doesn't look like it's actually in the water, so we need to add just a bit of shadow. So I'm going to just click on burn tool, flatten out that brush, and we're just going to burn around there in the water. Okay, that might be a bit too much. Something like that looks good. And of course we're going to do a Control-Shift-N, add a new layer, use our brush tool, and we'll switch that back to what it was, circular. Okay, And then from here, bring that down, and we'll start the vignette out the top and the bottom like usual. Okay, and we'll lighten that out. We'll pull it to the top just a bit so we're not covering up most of the scene there to the bottom. And we are all set. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you keep enjoying these. You know, definitely keep the comments up on YouTube and follow on Instagram and YouTube. All the comments and likes are really appreciated, and I hope you have a great week. Talk soon.